October 22nd to order. First is Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next is approval of the agenda. We just have one add on for item C under consent agenda. Approve service agreement with Health Quotient for a comprehensive law enforcement health and fitness program. Is there any other changes or additions?
I move approval of the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Johnson, second by Councilmember Doherty. All in favor?
Aye.
Next is council staff reports. Sorry about this. Last week I attended the Toast and Topics at the Laura Center, Event Center, and that was all for cities, Oak Park Heights, Bayport, Lake Elmo, and Stillwater, all, and the mayors and the administrators to talk with the chamber. And then on Friday, had a breakfast meeting with Excel and got updates about different things at the King plant. They still don't have a lot of information yet. But they did give an update on it. It's called the 10 Mile Project. That's the solar field that's going to be built in Wisconsin. And they are going to have an open house on November 12th from 3 to 7 p.m. at the Phipps in downtown Hudson. Thursday and Friday, I have the Minnesota Association of Small Cities Board Retreat in Perham. And next Monday is Regional Council of Mayors in Minneapolis. Then Tuesday, I think everybody got an invitation for it, is the 175th anniversary from the Washington County at the historic courthouse. And I think everybody got the invitation too for the groundbreaking for the homeless shelter that'll be on the 12th. And then the construction actually starts on the 13th. And I have a Lake Elmo Airport leadership meeting. And then the actual meeting will be, Mike, just a heads up, it's November 25th at the Baytown Hall. And then I have the Energy Transition Advisory Committee meeting. And I have 3 of them all related to the Midwest Governors Association. There's the general meeting, and then on the 7th, there'll be grid strategies, and then the North American electric reliability. And then I have had countless phone calls and emails from residents with concerns about the homeless shelter, and then also wanting more information about the King plant. So it's been a busy couple of weeks. And then just a reminder about Mayor for a Day. This is for children that are in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade to write an essay about what they would do to be the mayor of the city. And I encourage everyone to do it. Jennifer did put information on our website, and it's due for the League of Minnesota Cities, and the first prize is $100 and gets printed in the League's magazine. I think that was long enough. Okay, Councilmember Doherty.
Okay, Park and Trails Commission meeting was canceled for this month. I also attended the Toast and Topics with the Chamber and the XL meeting on Friday.
Well, thank you. Councilmember Johnson.
I attended the League of Minnesota Cities board meeting to discuss the Improving Service Delivery Policy Committee recommendations. I also attended the Middle St. Croix Watershed Management Organization's meeting. Just to put some things on your radar, there was a group discussion about the river and speeding on the river, and if we want to send as joint as council rather than the WMO a letter to the DNR requesting that they look at enforcement on speeding in the no-wake zones. The other thing just to also put on the radar is one of the watershed districts up in Forest Lake are pulling out from MRAP, which is going to start impacting the funding. And so that was, I did flag that for our county commissioner just to see if there's stuff that can be done at the county level to ensure that it's not pulling back on our budgets and the WMO's budget. And then lastly, since it kind of impacts us as well, that Mr. Quick adjacent to Stillwater, that came up. The Department of Labor is stepping in and making decisions that probably are not in their purview. And so I think Mike's going to bring this up at the Bowser meeting tomorrow just to see if because that will have implications on all cities, including ours, if that continues. So those are the big discussions that should be on your radar.
Thank you. Councilmember Runk.
Forget Mike. Two things. I attended the CVB meeting this month. They're finalizing their budget for the next year. It appears that they've had a very successful current year. I also have got a message from Valley Access about the fact that there's a slight change in their service, in that up until now, Valley Access has followed Pony Sports. They broadcast all the home football games, and then they would broadcast select swim meets, basketball games, hockey games, and such. They were notified by the school district last Thursday that they're no longer going to be allowed to do that. That the school district has now entered a contract with some online streaming service that will offer that as a pay-per-view. So last Thursday's game, home football game, was the last athletic event that they will be able to cover. They still will cover events such as concerts, graduation, and that, but the athletic department says they can't cover them anymore. So,
Thank you. Councilmember Liljegren.
I have nothing to report.
Thank you. Administrator Rife.
Mayor, Council, good evening. We had just giving you an update here on a water shut-off in the Oldfield Court area, about 22 to 25 homes, and that was just related to a fire hydrant that we needed to replace. Was texting with Director Kegley earlier, about 10 minutes ago, the water came back on here. So just giving you that update in case any residents have reached out to you or will reach out to you. Go ahead.
Chief Hansen.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just some updates on some community outreach events we have coming up with Halloween. On this Sunday, the 27th, we'll be at Watermark Church for a trunk and treat. And then on Tuesday, the 29th, we'll be back out at Kowalski's for their Boo Bash. And then, of course, we got Halloween on the 31st, and we'll have 2 extra officers on. And as always, they can come up and get glow sticks and candy, and the officers will be passing that out throughout the neighborhoods too. And that is it.
Thank you. Assistant Administrator Pinsky.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. 2 items for you this evening. First, our Recycling Award winner, Roger Antonsen at 14793 Upper 56th Street North, was the most recent Recycling Award winner. And then the second item I have for you is we did have our yard waste collection on Saturday, the 19th. The weather was amazing. However, we didn't have a lot of people come through the line. So typically we have, with the normal cleanup where we accept a lot more items, we usually see around 200 loads come through on our fall cleanup. We had 72 vehicles come through. It's still a decent amount. It was, steady traffic and then some lulls, but it wasn't what I thought we would see. And the loads that were coming in were just 10 or fewer bags, and then just a little bit of brush. So it wasn't a ton of volume. So I'll be interested to see what the report is from Tenant Sanitation on what the volume load was, and I'll report that when I get that.
Thank you.
And then maybe we'll have a work session discussion on what we want to do for next year.
Well, I think we should, because we initially said we weren't going to do the second one, but after the storms this year, just not do brush. But we can have that discussion later.
Everybody was very thankful. Nobody brought anything that wasn't accepted, so our communications obviously were effective.
Good job.
Thanks.
Next is the visitor public comment section. This is a time for anyone to address the council on any item that they would like to discuss, and there's no one here tonight. So we'll move on to the consent agenda, which is approved bills and investments, check 71087 to 71149 for a total of $375,827.73. Approved city council minutes from October 8th, 2024. And then approved service agreement with Health Potion for comprehensive law enforcement health and fitness program.
I will move the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Runk, second by Councilmember Liljegren. All in favor? Oh, roll call, so sorry. Thank you very much.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Liljegren?
Yes.
Councilmember Runk?
Yes.
Mayor McCumber?
Yes. We have no public hearings for tonight. We have no old business for tonight. And for new business, we have policy for donation of sale of surplus property. Jacob.
Mayor Jenny will handle this one.
Okay.
I'll take it for you. So Mayor and Council, we did talk about this at a work session last month, so this should be a little familiar to you. Under Minnesota law, cities may donate surplus property to a nonprofit organization, but before donating, we must adopt a policy on how the city will decide what qualifies as a surplus item and what agencies or what nonprofit organizations are eligible to receive the donation. So state law also does allow for surplus property to be sold using electronic selling process, and so that's also included in the draft policy we're providing to you tonight. We consulted with our city attorney's office, and we used the model policy from the League of Minnesota Cities as a base for this policy that we're presenting to you this evening, which does outlines the procedures for identifying surplus property, determining fair market value, advertisements and approvals. And so we're presenting this to you this evening for discussion and recommending approval.
Looks good. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Jen?
I'd move approval.
Second. Motion by Councilmember Doherty, second by Councilmember Johnson. Why don't we do a roll call on this since it's a new policy?
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Liljegren?
Yes.
Councilmember Runk?
Yes.
Mayor McCumber?
Yes. Are there any other council items or announcements?
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Runk, second by Councilmember Doherty. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, no, Jen, is that the fastest one yet?
I think we're tied.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're tied.
A quicker one in my,
There was a meeting that I wasn't here for that I think was the quickest one.
single digit.
Yes. So this is tied
This is
for the
pretty
shortest
quick.
that I've been here for.
Well, thanks, everybody.
Well, your dinner will be ready in 2 minutes.